Hello, viewers at home. My name is Akinwale Ojomo. Welcome again to Global Culture. Happy New Year, by the way, and I'm having some interesting guests this year to be able to share with you actually on culture, on different things they do around the world. So you're going to be seeing different guests, not only in the United States, of course, from around the world, Africa, Asia, and Europe. So again, I have a special guest right here. Mr. Can you please tell our viewers at home, what's your name, sir?
Chima Ucheya.
Okay, and what's your role and what's the name of your organization?
First, I would like to express my appreciation for having me here on your very popular program.
Thank you.
My name is Chima Ucheya. I'm an architect and managing director of Rainbow Town Development Limited in Port Harcourt.
Wow. And Port Harcourt is located in
south zone of Nigeria.
Okay.
It's also the petroleum capital of Nigeria, if not Africa.
Okay, and for our viewers at home, now when you hear Nigeria, right, you know about oil. So, and a lot of things are happening now in Nigeria. So we are bringing someone who is doing positive things that you can, hear and think about. So can you share with our audience, what is the project you are doing right now? And, tell them more about the progress you've made.
Thank you. Rainbow Town is a project of breathtaking scope.
Okay.
It's a flagship urban renewal project from the standpoint of the transformation of depressed neighborhoods into high-scale premium mixed-use development. It's unique in its brand because it's got a complementary blend of 1,117 housing units.
Wow.
Creatively tucked into high-rise condos, terrace houses, which you call townhomes here.
Okay, in America, right?
Detached homes, which you call single-family homes.
Okay. Right.
I gotta get used to those terminologies.
Semantics, right? Yes, absolutely.
And then it's got a 12-story office building.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Movie and entertainment theaters, conference and event centers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A school, primary school.
Okay.
Medical consulting clinic.
Wow.
Outdoor recreational spaces, police station, water treatment, seawater treatment plants, and its own independent power station.
I want to mention that. I know that's very important, right?
It's very important in Nigeria.
Right,
you go nowhere with no power,
No
and
power.
especially in an estate of this premium and trend, you've got to have it because it's a lot of power dependent, whether it's your broadband CCTV,
right,
or your internet data facilities, or your elevators up to your, I forgot to mention, when I said high-rise condos, I'm talking about 12 and 15-story residential condos.
Wow, okay, that's
So,
interesting.
elevators, and you just can't do without 24-hour power.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to say that Rainbow Town, in its programming and planning, has taken a reasonable consideration of adequate power provision to the estate.
Okay, excellent. Then to our viewers at home as well, who are just, knowing more about the Rainbow for the first time, take a little bit of historical background in terms of how old is this estate, what is your timeline, and of course, whoever is interested in this project.
Historically, if I may back up, the Rainbow Town is was a low to medium income housing estate developed by the former Eastern Nigerian Housing Corporation, developed in 1964. But from 1970 onwards, it went through several use transformations. But just to cut a long story short, it ended up degenerating really into squatter settlement.
Oh, wow,
The story used to go that if you committed a crime and just managed to get into Rainbow Town, it was the sanctuary and you were home free. So that was the nature and the state of Rainbow Town, with their social vices and of course, it's a drag on the local city or regional economy.
Right.
Absolutely had no economic contributions to the regional development.
Right.
This was what Rainbow Town was until 2000, when the former governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Peter Odili, relocated all the residents of Rainbow Town, and compensations were duly paid. And therefore reclaimed the old Rainbow Town, by the way, reclaiming, including raising down the entire shanty structures there. And therefore making available close to 30 hectares of, well, I don't want to say virgin land, but available land for development. But that was as far as he went, which was major. I mean, that's significant because then in 2008, he's the current governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Rotimi Amechi,
right.
then entered into partnership with First Bank, and they came up with a grand vision to develop a whole township in the old Rainbow Town, which is why it's called the Urban Renewal Project.
Right, okay.
Never in the history of Nigeria had they spent 58 billion naira on one township, and especially one that has the net effect of transforming a depressed neighborhood into a premium, high-use, income-generating estate.
Right. Oh, excellent. So for those who are in America, especially the Nigerian diaspora, what is your message? Not only Nigerian diaspora who is interested in this grand, project. The U.S. investors. Can you share with them, or what do you have on the table for them?
Good. The facilities we have in Rainbow Town can be categorized into residential and commercial assets.
Okay.
The residential assets, which is mostly our phase one development, it's ongoing now.
Okay.
Along with that will be what I consider the complementary commercial assets of a medical clinic, and the school, the corner shops. But there are opportunities for counterpart funding, for equity finance and investment, for concessionary agreements with foreign investors, especially on the what I call the city center of Rainbow Town, which is the facility that has office buildings, movie theaters, event conference facilities, recreation and shopping, indoor recreation and shopping facilities. It's very much available for interested investors. And the returns in Port Harcourt, as you know, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and Lagos are the prime real estate in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And Port Harcourt, probably more so because of the oil industry that is the fulcrum of the local economy. So it's an investment that you really can't lose.
Right. Okay, great. I have a question quickly. Speaking as a mind of an American who is listening to you right now and saying, "Oh, I've heard so much about Nigeria without in this insecurity. What is it that you have put in place to share with the investors who have not been to Port Harcourt before about what they heard about the insecurity in Nigeria? What do you tell them?"
Well, first, let me back up and say that even I came to the United States in 1982. And was here until January of 2010.
Oh, wow, okay.
So just 2 years. So even I had my biases and hesitations going into Port Harcourt. Let me say that the security situation, and especially in the Niger Delta, has improved to a point where you could actually consider it as just normal. Or maybe even a lower security index or crime index relative to, I'm sure you heard of some of the other problems we are having in other parts of the country. But let's just concentrate on the Niger Delta and in particular Port Harcourt, which is where Rainbow Town is located. Port Harcourt is a calm city ready to open its doors. Just a couple months ago, we had the Rivers Investment Forum, where we have the former Prime Minister of Britain, Murdoch Brown, as a guest speaker, and attracted at least 9 ministers, including the Central Bank Governor and the Minister of Finance, Dr. Konjiwala. And we were all there. Again, another diasporan who's making his mark in the power sector, Dr. Bart Naji. And the list goes on. My advice first to Nigerians in the diaspora is that there's a lot you can do. And American education and the experience of working in a country with international best practices, and where it's a concentration and intersection of everything that happens globally that is good, best practices and all. So if you live and work or have gone to school in America, you do have an advantage, not just of the education, but of the exposure on the best way to policy advocacy and implementation. So I would say that there are lots of opportunities. And in fact, and I'm a little sorry to say this, but as you know, the education system in Nigeria has its challenges now. So there is a renewed value and reception for Nigerians who had been to school overseas. But coming back to the issue of security, I have to tell you, in the Niger Delta, and it's a combination of heightened security measures. And some people have said, and I can't verify this, the president being from the Niger Delta has instilled a sense of ownership in the Nigerian project. And also there's the issue of, well, let's give him a chance. Let's give the homeboy His Excellency President.
Okay, great. Viewers at home, you've heard so much. I know you're getting some education right here on the country Nigeria, the housing project, and at Global Culture, because we know that culture or housing is part of a culture, right? The way people live is part of their culture. So it's renewing and of course, culture is very, very dynamic. So what our gentleman is talking about right here is how renewal of the urban center to make it more attractive for not only foreigners, even Nigerian in diaspora. One more question for you. This is 2012. How do you want to what is the timeline of your project?
We're looking at 2014.
Okay.
To complete Rainbow Town. Rainbow Town will be a regional paradigm and destination of choice.
Okay, wow.
And I hasten to add that it will be a significant source of income generation for the government of Rivers State, which can then be captured and reinvested in the pro-poor social infrastructures like clinics, maternity, healthcare centers, schools, portable water, and these all command top billing in His Excellency Governor Rotimi Amechi's development plan. So I see Rainbow Town as being the destination of choice, as a model, and I see several other mega projects in the Rainbow scale coming up from there.
You mentioned 2014, right?
Yes.
And I know, of course, election happened in a 4-year cycle. From the standpoint of continuity, what is the current government putting in place so that the rainbow we see today is not going to vanish tomorrow?
It will not. First of all, it will be completed in this within the term of this government. And I also must call attention to the fact that Rainbow Town is a partnership between First Bank, Nigeria, PLC, and the government of Rivers State. So it's not a government project. It's not social housing. And not to put government down, but there is a tendency for government-only projects to experience the type of transformations, positive or negative, with the changes in government. But this is a private sector-driven development. It's for profit. It's investment. Business acumen and astute businessmen don't let their investments divest.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming today. And I want to ask you one last question for our viewers at home. You recently moved back to Nigeria, right?
Yes.
Okay. Of course, you have the good news, right?
Yes.
So tell them, what's the good news you have for them?
This is the right time to come back home. The brain drain is a reversal of the brain drain. There's a lot happening. The Nigeria you have today has opened its doors and embraced to Nigerians in the diaspora. And I mentioned at least 4 or 5 cabinet ministers. But there are, in the private sector, people of my type, and I can reel off names outside the purview of this interview, who are making their marks and contributions. And I hope, which is one reason why I can't fail, because I myself want to be that paradigm. That you can say, that Nigerian in diaspora, he came back and he made this happen. So I'll be very interested to speak to anyone in person where we can really expand on the opportunities and the conduit for exploring potentials in Nigeria.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You've been having a good information for our viewers at home. Again, viewers at home, this is the end of another session of Global Culture. And we brought Mr. Chima Uchea, who was actually is the CEO, Managing Director for the Rainbow project in Port Harcourt. And Port Harcourt, like we said, is in the Delta, the oil part of Nigeria, in south, right? South. And of course, a little bit of the map, global map, go Google and you see where we're talking about. But we're going to be having his name, his email address, and his website at the end of the credit, at the end of the show. So at this time, we are wrapping up, and we are saying that for those Nigerian in diaspora, for the U.S. interested in investors interested in Nigeria and other African countries, this is the time. The Economist actually recently had a study saying that Africa is the next destination, and for Africans living in America, this is the time to step up. I know people. It's a challenge over there, but there's still a great opportunity, like an example of Mr. Chima is talking about and sharing with you. So I'm going to sign off for now, and I will see you next time to bring another guest, maybe from Kenya, so they can tell you a little bit of not only West Africa, talk about this South Africa experience and the East Africa experience. I sign off right now. My name again is Akinwale Ojomo. I will see you next time.